Hi, welcome to the third episode of Topology for the series Gravitation. In this episode, we are going to talk about convergence and continuity. First of all, I want to I want just to remind you what convergence means in metric spaces. Or if you're not familiar with metric spaces, you can just simply assume that instead of metric spaces, that this is just Eucludian space. So we say that this sequence converges to X if for each epsilon I gave, you find me a natural number n, and then for all n's greater to the n you found, the distance between what we claimed to converge and the actual sequence will be less than that epsilon. So what this actually means in terms of visualization is, let's suppose that we have this sequence and I say that my sequence converges to here. Okay, so this is a sequence of points, and I say it converges to here. So this would be like points. These points would be here. So, and I choose an epsilon to make a unit ball around this X. So I say I want this amount of closeness to my X, and then you say, well, this is the point 1, this is point 2, and you say for whatever epsilon you gave, I can find this n, and as you can see, this is less than epsilon because it's in this ball that you chose. So this is what convergence means in metric spaces. In topology, but we don't have a metric system. We don't have a meter, in fact. So we need to define it in some other way. So here's the definition. If X is a topological space, and we show the sequence like this in topology, and this sequence is a sequence of points in X, and X belongs to our topological space X, we say that the sequence converges to X, and X is a limit of the sequence if for every neighborhood U of X there exists a natural number like n, such that for each X in that sequence, this would be in our neighborhood. So that's the definition for convergence of sequences in topology. Let's just show that these are the same definitions if we are in the metric space. So we are going to show that this definition is the same definition in metric space. Let's just say the topological convergence again. If there is a sequence converging to X, then for each neighborhood you take, each neighborhood for X you take, then there is a natural number which for all i's greater than that natural number, all of our points with i's greater than n will be in our neighborhood. So as I just said, the neighborhood in metric spaces are defined like this. they are defined with respect to your meter. So if dx is your meter, then dxy less than some epsilon will be what u of x is. Okay, so this is a fixed point, and all these things vary, and the set of all y's will be your neighborhood. Okay, so it's something like this. All y's that are true in this will be in your set, and ux is defined like that. So as you can see, again, if you just take this y out, we will get the same definition, dxy from dxy is less than epsilon, and we get that epsilon right here, and then all other things are just the same. So these two definitions are same in metric spaces. Then we have a continuity in topological spaces. Well, first let's just take a look at continuity in the form that you know it. We say something is continuous in a point if the limit of it is equal to the actual value at that point. This is the definition of continuity, and what the limit means is right here. For each epsilon you want to get close to your point, then I give you delta, so you can actually get close to that point. This is a definition of continuity in metric spaces. But as we just said, there is no metric in topology. I mean, not generally. So this is the definition. If x and y are topological spaces, a map f from x to y is said to be continuous if for every open subset u being a subset of y, its preimage f inverse of u is open in x. This is the definition in topological spaces. The relation with epsilon and delta, we are going to do the same thing we did with convergence. Well, what metric spaces says is really just this preimage thing. Let's suppose that we are in a metric space and we want to show the continuity of some function. Okay, so let's say this is x0, then and this is the image of our function, and this is our domain. But continuity says if I take this neighborhood, okay, then you can give me some neighborhood. Okay, let's say that this is our domain and this is our domain. Then if I gave you this neighborhood of f of x, then you can give me this neighborhood of x, which satisfies the neighborhood that I asked you for. Okay, so all of the values from these x's around here are true in they will be in this open ball right here, and you can see that's just what we said. Okay, the preimage of our function will be also an open ball in our domain. And there is a closed form of continuity in functions. For the closed form, you just need to replace the definition from open with closed. Okay, so if X and Y are topological spaces, a map F from X to Y is said to be continuous if for every closed subset its pre-image is also closed in X. So that's the closed form, and that can be proven from the definition in from the open version of continuity. And there is some properties of continuity I want to discuss. I'm not going to prove all of this in details. I'm just going to give you a hint. So every constant map is continuous. Well, let's just remember the definition of continuity. It says that the inverse of the open ball should be open. So a constant map is a map that which gives you the same result for each entry. So if you take an open ball here, then if C is in it, then it will go to all of your space, all of your X, and also an X is an open set, and all other things go to nothing. So the pre-image will be X. So every constant map is continuous. The identity map is continuous. Since the identity map is a bijective map. Okay, it is defined on from X to X. So this is trivial that the pre-image will be an open set. Then we have this. Then we have if F from X to Y is continuous, so is the restriction of F to any subset of X. Well, you just need to take the intersection of those open sets and they will be open. And the last one is about function composition. For the last one, if F and X are both continuous, so is their composition. Well, let's show this with 3 diagrams. Okay, so this is X, this is Y, and this is Z. So we want to show that the inverse image of this thing right here gives us an open thing, an open set. So if there is an open set right here, then this goes to an open set since G is continuous, and since F is continuous, the open set from here goes to X to an open set. So this thing right here will be an open, and that's just the proof of the last part. Then there is our second theorem, local criterion for continuity. A map F from X to Y between topological spaces is continuous if and only if each point of X has a neighborhood on which the restriction of F is continuous. To prove this, you only need to... Okay, let's prove this. Obviously, for this way, if F is continuous, then it is trivial that for each point of X, a neighborhood, the restriction of that neighborhood will be continuous. Since the whole space continuous, then the smaller space will be also continuous. But for the other way, let's do step by step, I want to show that the whole F is continuous. Okay, so whole F is continuous. And what I know is that F is continuous with restriction to some V. And I want to show that that F, the preimage of F for some open space is an open space, okay? And I know that this thing right here with the restriction to F is an open space. So what I do here right now is let's rewrite this. This will be preimage of F in U intersected with the V itself. And since we have this thing right here for each x in U, and this thing is an open set, and we know if for every x I can give an open set, I can in fact give a neighborhood. This is a better term. If I can give a neighborhood for each x, then I can say that the whole space is an open set. So this thing is an open set. And that's it. I hope you have enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.